con. Oh, wait.
No one will talk about that, yeah. TJ, of course, was snubbed from the casters list. Instead, we had pretty much every other Hearthstone streamer. We had Crip, Amaz, Raynad, even Hyped joined in on the casting back then.
Yeah, so then I made it my vow from that point on to join Blizzard.
From the inside.
And choose the casters for the rest of eternity.
Wow.
You okay, Dan?
Yeah.
You gonna be all right?
It just turns out that, you know, TJ joining Blizzard was a giant vendetta for him to take down Hearthstone casters one by one.
We have turned our
What really happened to Robert Wing, TJ? Tell me.
Where'd you get that bow tie, Dan?
That's another underground meme. Shout out to Rob Wing, by the way. Hope he's doing well. Osaka's going to play Control Priest up against Even Warlock. This is a matchup that Even Warlock can struggle with if they don't have enough pressure early on, but that turn 3 Mountain Giant looks good for Thijs so far. The reason being is that Even Warlock can just get pinged down a lot. They love yo-yoing across that halfway, the 50-yard line, if you will. Going down to make a 4-mana 7/7.
Going all the way up to the 30-yard,
50-yard lines.
But how do you break it up into increments of?
It's a half. Your half life.
So
you get 7/7.
So 16 would be the 13 point or the 53.75 yard line.
Yeah.
Okay. I like to float
repeating, of course.
I like to float around the 14 health range, so I have a little wiggle room, which is the 46.25 yard lines.
That's strictly suboptimal.
Yeah.
So Thijs already has his threat checked. In fact, he's staring at a bigger threat on the opposite side that is not conveniently answered. He could Spellbreaker his own minion trade. He can Spellbreaker the 8/4. He could also...
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I was like, he could also see if
he could Hellfire and die.
Well, I was saying that he could also, like, you know, be a little bit more passive, but just like playing a 4/4 of some kind.
Yeah.
Oh, the ballsy play. I've been seeing Thijs take a lot of big-time risks these days.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think it's been leading to some high-risk, high-reward scenarios that's helped him go really deep in some tournaments. And I think, you know, that kind of risk-taking is often what sets apart some players from others. Because I know a lot of people, it's a lot easier to cave into the safety, you know, the mindset of like, oh, I need to be really cautious here, like trade, blah, blah. Like, Thijs has no fear. And maybe that's has some correlation with why he's the highest earner in Hearthstone.
Well, I'm by no means a Hearthstone coach, which is weird because that's like sort of a job title that casters have. But I always thought it's best to learn Hearthstone by taking the riskiest plays, because if you don't take risks, you'll never know what punishes you. You'll never know what games could have been won if you had taken those risks.
Yeah. Mark Twain once wrote, I'd rather have lost love than never have loved at all.
Damn, we're not talking about love.
Well, we're talking about Hearthstone, and I love Hearthstone.
Whoa.
I'd rather have not top deck than crap. I don't know. Something profound and poetic.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Mark Twain.
You are not.
Loved him as the Incredible Hulk.
What? Not even close. Yeah. Push the damage. Double Mountain Giant, and it's the turn before the Psychic Scream. Is there a Mass Hysteria in Osaka's deck list? And that heal gambit is not paying off for Osaka, because if it was a little bit lower health, actually, I don't know. If it was lower health, it'd still be at 5, and you couldn't clear it with Dustbreaker. Does Osaka heal the 8/7 again to draw a card? What could he even draw? This is supposed to be a good matchup.
There's no
Kaka.
Mass Hysteria.
Oh man. I mean, it's not fairly common. It's just one of those things you just keep in mind.
Yeah.
And that risky play from Thijs. I mean, the reason why we say it's risky is just because you're always very very vulnerable to some of the removals, but if you know Osaka's deck list and you know that he can't punish you that much for it, it's a great call.
This is rough.
So Osaka could draw cards, but he already kind of has all the cards he needs, to be honest. Like, he's got Psychic Scream, Anduin, and Alex Straza. He doesn't need much else. So he could actually just heal himself and stall, and I think that's the right play here.
Yeah, but now he's going to be on the back foot for a while, because even though he has Psychic Scream next turn, that gives Thijs a free turn of development afterwards that he'll still have to deal with. Now he has Shadowy Brandon to follow that up, but what if it's not a 5 attack or more minion, Dan? What if it has less than 5 attack?
Well, it won't die.
Astute.
Thank you. Am I hired again for the next job?
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're watching Hearthstone.
I think we've hit our inside joke quota for the day, TJ. Please. I don't want to have to go back and like
that one's an outside
explain
joke.
Every single one. Yes.
It's just, you have to have watched Hearthstone in 2015, which we took a throwback to.
That is so true. In 2015, Admirable was not casting anything like there's no HCT, so Admirable wasn't casting.
No.
He was casting
PvP Live.
PvP Live, the Hearthstone Pro League.
Yeah.
And his instructions was to be as epic as possible, which he took to the umpteenth degree. And so he used to sign out every outro like with some really intense one-liners, and one of the peak of it was, "You're watching Hearthstone." And so whenever we meme Admirable in the backstage, we sometimes say that. Just
yeah, so it's not an inside joke. It's actually just a throwback to 2015.
Well played, TJ. You successfully out-memed me.
All is right in the world.
Even when you're not cast with him, you can't stop picking on him. Poor guy.
Picking on him.
People think Sato's like the biggest bully out of all the casters. TJ is actually the biggest bully out of all of them.
We bully each other. That's just how we
How
work.
often do we bully you?
Often. I bully myself.
Oh, look at this play! I love this play.
See, I foreshadowed this. I didn't call it. I just foreshadowed
Well,
it.
you're talking about the possibility of it, and it is fantastic spot recognition from Thijs saying, you know what? Osaka took so much time thinking about stuff. He probably has a really good Shadow Reaper Anduin setup, and I don't want him to kill
This brings me back as well. If we recall back to the 2015 semifinal Hearthstone World Championship with Tyson Osaka playing a Freeze Mage Mirror, they were outmaneuvering each other by pinging their own face to make it so that they protected themselves from burn damage with Ice Block being popped.
Counterintuitive plays. That's what makes it really interesting. And now Thijs has another choice. Oh my goodness. Round and round we go. Now, to be fair, I believe he played 2 Hooked Reavers in a row and got screamed twice in a row. But the Lich King here kind of goes a little bit against what Thijs was trying to do, but the nice thing is that it curves into Blood River Gul'dan in the following turns as well. So Thijs actually has some real choices at this point.
Yeah, I think we're just reloading with a couple more 4-attack minions.
Yeah. It's definitely not nearly as powerful, though, because now Osaka has access to Alex Straza.
Yeah, but Alex Straza presents an awkward situation because Thijs can just push face damage again, play Lich King, and then if Osaka plays Shadowy Brandon, when it kills off his own Alex Straza, which cuts off some of the value of it.
True. But also consider this. Osaka has double Mind Blast, so if he sets up some kind of Shadow Reaper Anduin play and is able to clear things, he should also be able to wrap up the game soon.
That's why Thijs hasn't been life tapping. He's one step ahead.
Well, Osaka can go for the Cabal Shadow Priest play with the Twilight Acolyte. You can steal the Hooked Reaver, remove it from the Demon Pool. The other option is to Alex Straza yourself to 15, and then use that to fight back on the board for a little bit of time before you Anduin. And I think that's okay to Alex Straza yourself if you end up choosing to go for it, because most likely you're not going to be able to safely Anduin for a while. You're going to constantly be really scared of like double Hellfire and Bone Mare, so you're just going to most likely respond after your opponent plays a big threat with their Anduin. And then if I'm Thijs, he's feeling, ooh. Well.
No, I like this because then if you, no, because Shadowy Brand gets up 5 armor, so you're not setting up for anything. Yeah. Maybe he makes a, no, I don't think there's any point to making the trade either.
No, you go face.
Yeah, because Shadowy Brandon kills off the Alexstrasza anyway.
Oh, missing this 8 damage when your opponent's at 11 feels so bad, but there's also a possibility that Thijs could get cheesed.
But how would he get cheesed?
Let me see.
There's no silence in the deck. There's no Fire Tree Witch Doctor, so he can't pick up a silence. If he plays Shadowy Branduin, there's no way he pushes through because it kills off the Alexstrasza as well.
Oh, you're right, you're right.
He can't say Twilight Acolyte, Cabal Shadow Priest, push 8, and then Mind Blast to kill him because he's at a healthy enough life total, and that costs more mana than he has.
Yep, and then playing Shadowy Branduin, Oscar can go up to maximum of, let's see, 6 from the Divine Hymn, plus 5, so he can go up to 14.
I must consider.
But I think he wants to go for that ping because then he sets up for lethal the following turn should there be no healing.
But then he's looking at, he's at 8 life, and Thijs has 4 damage on the board. Oh, that is so close.
Yeah, but
that is really, really close.
That would require Thijs to have 2 Hellfires to kill him.
I wonder.
Yep. 2 Hellfires or a Dread Infernal and Hellfire.
Oh, Dread Infernal plus Hellfire.
Or...
That's it.
Yeah, because he didn't play a Lich King, so he couldn't have a...
He played Lich King. Only has 1 Bone Mare.
It might be a gut check time for Osaka, or is he going to take the safe play of trying to be a little bit more cautious?
But I think it's time for a Death Knight battle because Thijs...
Oh, yes! That is some 2015 World Championship plays right there. Oh, what a draw from Thijs! What, you told me to throw it back like it's 2015?
That was intense!
What a game! Back
I felt that in my chest.
Forth. And like, I think it was just correct on both sides all the way through.
Yeah.
It was very well played.
And that's what you like to see. We called the outs from Thijs. I think even with Blood Reaver Gul'dan, it would have brought him up to 20. So outside of, no, yeah, he would have been safe anyway, but maybe Osaka stabilized from there with the Divine Hymn, because he still had that in the hand. So ends up